Trinadapi Sunichena, Dororiva Sahishnuna, Hamanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Sri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I have 3 short excerpts from the Sri Govinda leelämrita by His Divine Grace Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And these are taken from the midday pastimes. This book is a day in the life of Radha Krishna, and it's broken out into 8 divisions of pastimes. So this first short excerpt is called Krishna's Crown. If you're ready to hear, then please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Lord Krishna went to the south, where the ground was inlaid with mosaics, and there was a cottage of lotus flowers. Assisted by her gopi friends, Srimati decorated Lord Krishna, who was more dear to her than her own life breath. Lovingly she placed on Krishna many flower ornaments as well as other kinds of ornaments also. Radharani then dried and scented Krishna's hair with the aguru incense smoke. She then carefully combed Krishna's hair and bound it with a garland of mully flowers and with other garlands of jati, rangana, yutika, bakul, golden yuti, and champaka flowers, as well as ketaki petals, peacock feathers, gunja, and pearls, each placed one above the other. These bunches of flowers and peacock feathers formed a great crown with a broad base at Lord Krishna's forehead and a narrow pinnacle at the top. The flowers in this crown were so fresh that they attracted swarms of, bumblebees. This crown appeared like a great beautiful chamara whisk, and it enchanted the residents of the entire universe. The bumblebees of the gopis' eyes rest on Lord Krishna's flower crown, and they never leave it. This crown always rests in the lotus flower of the gopis' hearts and never exits. The momentary sight of this crown's reflection repeatedly drags the mind to remembrance of Lord Krishna. This overwhelms the entire earth with its splendor. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. All right, now the second of the 3, this is still in the midday pastimes, because what happens is, after Krishna eats breakfast, he leaves, even though his parents don't want him to leave. Krishna says, no, it's my dharma. I am a Vaishya, and it is my duty to take care of the calves and the cows. So even though his parents don't want him to leave, Krishna and all the cowherd boys, they go to the forest. And while Krishna and the cowherd boys are taking care of the cows or calves, The gopis are making different kinds, like we say in the morning, different kinds of tasteful arrangements so that Krishna can slip away and be with Radharani and then come back and slip away, like all throughout the whole day. Krishna does a lot in one day. If you read this book, Krishna does quite a lot in one day. So this one, still in the midday pastimes, is called The Virtues of Krishna's Flute. So let's hear about that wonderful flute. Lord Krishna was stunned and depressed by hearing Lalita's contemptuous joking. Kundalata, considering Krishna's depression to be merely a clever trick, secretly handed the flute to Radharani, approaching Lord Krishna, and very feelingly spoke the following words. So, in this midday pastimes, a big portion of it is the pastime where Radharani steals Krishna's flute. And Krishna approaches Radharani. Do you have my flute? Meanwhile, Radharani passes the flute to another gopi. And Radharani says, no, I haven't seen your flute. Why don't you ask Lalita? So then Krishna goes to Lalita. When he goes to Lalita, she passes it to Vishaka. In this way, the flute is passed from gopi to gopi, and Krishna is forced to approach each gopi one-on-one. Finally, after a long ordeal, Krishna gets his flute back. So this is, all right, so somehow or other now the flute has come back to Radharani. So Radharani is speaking to Krishna. Because your bamboo flute was so full of holes, it was defective and was hardly worth a half a conch shell when it was new. What to speak of now that it is old and battered. That such a flute was stolen from your hand is actually a blessing. You are the prince of the cowherds. Why should you lament the loss of an insignificant bamboo flute? All the gopis are very happy to hear the flute is lost. In fact, they are giggling so loudly that I am practically dead with embarrassment. Lord Krishna then replied in the following words. My dear Kundalata, you speak in this way because you are unaware of the many virtues possessed by my flute. It is a great wonder that neither you nor your friends appreciate the virtues of my flute. Just as the spiritual potency of Lord Narayan, everybody say? Narayan. Just as the spiritual potency of Narayan fulfills all his desires, in the same way this flute very easily and perfectly fulfills whatever impossible to obtain desire may arise within my heart. This all-powerful flute fulfills all my desires. Radharani and the gopis are well aware of this flute's extraordinary power. Remember the night of the rasa dance? Yes. Krishna played the flute. Everybody came running like mad.
Enchanted.
Yes. For this reason, they have become very eager to steal it. Gopi Lalita then replied, My dear unrestrained Krishna, we were not aware that this flute is the queen of procuresses. What's a procuress? Pimp. Yes. So dear to you for her occupational skill. My dear Krishna, your flute is like a rope that constantly binds the wild elephants of the minds of women who are as charming and beautiful as nectar. Your flute is very expert at constantly ebbing the impeccably pure piety of the women of this world. Your flute constantly enchants Lakshmi, Parvati, Samgya, and all other young girls. Why, your flute is famous in all the 3 planetary systems for its wonderful qualities. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada describes how the gopis are always meditating on the sound of Krishna's flute. That's their meditation. The yogis, what do they meditate? Om, right? That's that meditation. But not the gopis. Their meditation is that flute sound. So Prabhupada then writes in that section that we can follow in the footsteps of the gopis. Obviously, we are not on their platform that we can meditate on Krishna's flute, because you can't buy that CD. There's no CD of Krishna's flute. It's not on Krishna.com. But Prabhupada says we can follow in the footsteps of the gopis by meditating on the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because when you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra perfectly, then you will hear that sound of Krishna's flute. So we should always be meditating on Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. All right, final of this 3. Yeah. Jai. I picked a good section then. Very good. Yes? Huh? I don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. All right. So, this last one, still from the midday pastimes, Krishna plays his flute. Happy to regain his flute after such a long time, Lord Krishna began to play notes upon it. The beautiful sounds of Lord Krishna's flute sprinkled the entire universe with the sweetest nectar. That flute sound aroused the amorous desires of all women in the 3 worlds. That flute sound caused all 6 seasons to be manifest simultaneously. All 6 seasons. That flute sound caused the stationary living entities to move in ecstasy and the moving living entities to become stunned. The arrows of the beautiful sound of Lord Krishna's flute sound all the peaceful and sedate women for a great distance and caused them all to become maddened with amorous desires. Even those who were not women became agitated with ecstatic love by hearing the flute sound. This is not very wonderful nor surprising, for Lord Krishna is the original form of the demigod Cupid, right? In the last of the 7 Gayatri mantras, Ananga, right? And sometimes you hear that Krishna is the new Cupid, right? And its name, Madan Mohan, the one who can bewilder Cupid himself. The sounds of Lord Krishna's flute caused everyone to become stunned in ecstasy. They caused the stationary hills and mountain peaks to melt. They caused the rivers to stop flowing and stand still. Seeing the still rivers, the thirsty birds and deer wanted to go and drink, but they could not move, for they were stunned by the sounds of Krishna's flute. Those who were already at the river's edge could not drink, for they were overwhelmed by hearing the sound of Lord Krishna's flute. The sounds of Lord Krishna's flute caused the waters of the lake to become hard like stone. The flute sounds caused the female swans to become stunned and motionless as if their feet were firmly bound. And their husbands of the swans wished to sport with them and give them morsels of lotus stems to eat, but they were also stunned and could neither move nor eat. O Radha, O Krishna, O Gopis, see how the sound of Lord Krishna's flute has overwhelmed this forest with ecstatic love. See how the moving creatures have become stunned in ecstasy, standing still like stone pillars. See how the non-moving living entities are trembling, stones are melting, the birds are stuttering, and the blades of grass are standing upright in ecstasy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.